because they had punched a hole in a pressurized
In the
extinguisher.
okay, the fire extinguisher. So it hit the fire extinguisher. So he
Yeah.
thought that was smoke.
That's what he thought was smoke. So he left.
Okay.
He jumped right away. And
So it was you and then George, and then did you go down and were you gonna jump out the bomb bay?
I tried to jump out to Bombay and I couldn't.
What happened?
Well, we were in a flat spin,
Okay.
and when I jumped, it just plastered me against the side of the plane.
Wow.
And so I crawled back and got on the walkway and went forward, and George had come out of the pilot seat and had fallen. Have you been on the 17?
I have.
All right. He had fallen from the pilot deck, there was like 2 decks.
Mm-hmm.
And he had fallen down in there. And so I went down there and grabbed him and asked him, tried to ask him, you couldn't talk, it was so noisy.
Right.
But he just, his whole chest was gone.
Mm.
It was blown out. It was like the bomb, like a 88 had gone inside his suit and blown out.
Did they give you flak jackets to wear?
Yeah, we had what do you call them? Flak jackets.
Mm-hmm.
And he had that on. I had taken mine off because that was too much clutter. I had too many places to go.
Right.
I had to go to the radio room, to the waist, and they just looked at me and I says, bail. And they're already planning, already getting ready to go.
Wow.
So
Who was?
I went back there, got Wilson, held him in my I sat down on the floor there and I held him and he went, have you ever been with a person when he dies?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. He just, his eyes went, and then he gurgled and a death gurgle.
Mm.
And
then you had to, the plane was going
I made up my
down.
mind, well, he's dead.
You had to make some really tough decisions, like really quick. You were in a plane coming down.
Yeah. Well, we were level flight.
Making circles. I found a witness is a 13-year-old boy who was watching your plane from the ground, and he explained from the ground looking up, he said that the plane was going in circles. It was circling the town.
Mm.
And so, which was fascinating because your account matched up with his account, and I was able to interview him, and he corroborated. He says it was in the morning, and it was during the summertime, and so everything he was telling me was matching up with the crew's account, and it was incredible to hear
That's great.
his testimony of what
That
had
gives
happened.
That gives it more.
And they were firing at you. There was all kinds. I mean, so when you parachuted out, they were shooting flak at you. They were shooting machine guns at you. You actually landed in. If there was a place that had a lot of Germans, more Germans in France than anywhere else, you landed there. And so you landed in between a V-1 launch and manufacturing site and a housing area for Germans. And so it was just minutes before they got to you. And so so you had do you remember much about the morning of taking off and then joining up with the formation? Do you remember much about that?
No, not particularly.
Okay.
Why, did anything happen?
No, I was just curious because I wanted to know if it was similar.
No.
Okay.
Yes, no.
So going back, what I would love to do is talk about your wedding. When you guys got married, really, like, so what was your wedding like?
Well, you got to go backwards a little.
I do.
Tell them about going to New Orleans.
Doing what?
Going to New Orleans
Oh.
or Louisiana.
Well, this is.
Well, see, I got transferred from Alexandria, Louisiana,
Okay.
to Kearney, Nebraska,
Okay.
and I got on a train, and that's how we traveled, by train.
Yeah, but we.
How did you propose to Mom?
On the telephone.
Well, tell Eric how it went.
Oh, I don't know. So anyhow, I proposed to we decided to get married.
Well, you said, why do we get married before we go? They're going to ship me overseas. So that's what we did.
So
But the problem was, in Alexandria, Louisiana, you had to be 21
Oh.
or have a written approval of a parent. Well, in those days, that was a very difficult thing to do. So we waited, and where did we get married? Oh, Kearney, Nebraska. He got shipped out to Kearney, Nebraska, and I faithfully trotted behind him. And there you could get married at 18.
Okay.
So that's what we did. And the thing is, our oldest daughter, figuring out dates and stuff, she came early because of that 10-day time differential. Crazy. It was a crazy time.
she's probably the
I
best
went-
for the wedding.
He got shipped. I was by myself in Kearney, Nebraska. I was waiting for him to come and find me because we stayed at a rental place.
Mm-hmm.
And he's walking down the street with a whole bunch of guys singing away, just having a drinking beer, just having a jolly old time. That is still so vivid.
So, my wife wanted to know what it was like to be with George. What was George like? The only thing she knows is that George was a B-17 pilot, and there's little to no record of what he was like as a person.
He was handsome and extremely friendly. Extremely friendly.
That look on your face, I don't think that you had the same experience as Mom.
George was to the letter of an officer, and and he didn't put up with much of our banging around, horsing around like we were, and George. Well, they were, George kept them military. All the officers were always together. They ate together. And the non-coms were kind of like...
Oh, they're just like in the movies, eh?
What?
I said, just like in the movies.
Yeah,
The officers were separate.
definitely.
So, in your wedding, what role did George play in your wedding?
I can't tell you.
He was your best man.
Huh?
He was your best man.
No,
And his, no?
I don't think so.
You told his mom that he walked you down the aisle.
Well, that's the best man.
No, that would be like the father of the bride.
Well,
Because I thought the best man was Atkinson. Atkinson or Ferguson? Who was your best man?
Who was my best man?
Yeah,
Ferguson.
Ferguson.
Very good.
Oh, well.
And so Frankie,
I was excited.
Frankie walked you down the aisle.
Yes. Well, and Mrs. the pilot's wife was my best lady. What do you call them? Yes, she was. She was the only female.
I think you have the pilot confused with Ferguson. Ferguson's wife
Oh, okay.
was your maid of honor.
Okay.
Matron of honor.
Okay.
Well, the letter that you wrote right after all of these events happened
Yeah.
said that it was Mrs. Ferguson
Okay.
and that Lieutenant Wilson acted as your chaperone and walked you down the aisle.
Is this something that you've seen?
So,
That's from you.
as we're boarding a plane, Wilson says, he says, you'll have to forgive me, but I had no idea how dangerous this was going to be. And I lost my train.
No. So you're boarding the plane, and he
We're
said,
boarding the plane, and he says, I put you all in for an upgrade. I was a staff sergeant at the time, so that made me a tech. And that made all the gunners staffs. They were sergeants. Which was dumb.
Well, what that did.
But that was George. He wasn't gonna promote us until he had to.
How do you really feel, Dad?
What?
How do you really feel?
That's right. He was gung ho military.
he was. So you're,
And little